Hey, what's up, YouTube? I want to take a minute to talk about the SDS200 scanner by Uniden, talk about why I chose this scanner, what I listened to, how I listened to it, and why I think it's probably the best scanner you can buy if you are trying to listen to police radio, police fire radio. Now, first off, let me talk about my experience so far. This is, let's see, I got this about 6 months ago, so started out with a BCD400 handheld scanner, then I went to the SDS100, and then I had the BCD536, and then I finally ended up with the SDS200. Now, my system in my area is a Simulcast system, so that is one reason why I just was never happy with the quality of the audio from the 436 and 536. And even the SDS100 just didn't seem to perform very well. But I think that has something to do with the fact that it's a handheld scanner, and these base scanners do so much better with in terms of audio. So as you can see, I have my scanner set up here on my desk at home, and it's currently turned off. I have it hooked up to the Ethernet cable with a right angle, and then I also have a dedicated 800 megahertz antenna, which is offset using a coax cable, and that way it just sits in this spot. I don't have to move it. I don't have to worry about the audio, the signal changing based off of where I'm moving. That was one thing I noticed with the handheld scanners, was how temperamental they were with their positioning. And so now that I've got this system where I want it and it's working perfectly, it's operating perfectly, I don't want to have to keep moving it around. And so I leave it here and I connect to it via the internet app, the web server app. And that way I have no problem listening to my scanner while I'm either at work or I'm in the car. As long as I'm here in the area of Charlottesville, Albemarle, where I live and where I listen to, I have no issues, listening to the scanner. Now, I consider the SDS200 to be the pinnacle, but also the apex of scanning technology. And I say that because most of these areas, such as Richmond, Chesterfield, Henrico, have gone completely encrypted in their operation of mostly police channels. And because of that, you're not going to listen to it. Even though you have a scanner that's capable of listening to simulcast, you can't hear it, and we're never going to hear it. So at some point in time, every agency is going to go encrypted, and when they do, scanning is going to, that the hobby of scanning is going to disappear. And so the SDS200 represents probably the height of the technology, because unless there's a way to listen to encrypted radio, which is illegal, you're not going to ever listen to the police once they go encrypted. And so the SDS200 scanner, I end up with that because I just figured, right now my area is not encrypted. They do have a couple encrypted channels, but they're not encrypted, and eventually they're going to end up going encrypted. And when they do, hopefully I can sell it to somebody who lives in an area that hasn't gone encrypted, and I can still recuperate some of my money that I spent on this thing, which, if you know anything about the SDS200, you know it is not cheap at all. Now, let's talk about how I have it hooked up. I have it hooked up to a smart plug, and so that way it's turned off right now. But if I was in my car and I saw, a police car speeding by, I could say, hey, I want to listen to the scanner, but I'm not home to turn it on. So I just go into my Google app and I say, hey, Google, turn the scanner on.
Got it. Turning the scanner on.
And you can see that the scanner is going to start up. Now, one thing to understand is that some people have issues with memory card corruption, and when a memory card corrupts, the scanner doesn't work at all. And I think that the issue has to do with the way it records, the audio. And so if you turn off replay, if you turn off recording inside the unit, then you don't have that issue. And so far, 6 months I've been using this, no issue. It's been working flawlessly. So I have it hooked up to a dedicated, it's running through my network, and it's hooked up to a dedicated server that is running ProScan. It's ProScan 16.5. 16.5.5. You can find that. Just go to proscan.org and you can find the website. They offer a full 30-day trial. It's a $50 program, but I think it's definitely worth it if you end up with an SDS200. Best investment I think I've ever made in programs. So let's go ahead and talk about the software itself. Now, right now, I've remote desktoped into my server, and you can see I've got the remote desktop connection. I've got the ProScan software running. You can see everything that's on my screen is what is being shown on the scanner itself. Say I want to change a setting, all I have to do is click that. Almost instantaneously changes. It does become a little finicky when it comes to changing settings, but it's all doable. 100% easy enough. All right, and go back. You can hold systems. Say I want to hold a channel. I can hold a channel. I can change my channels. All that fun stuff. You can see basically the only system I have it listening to, the system is on hold. The only system I have it listening to is the Charlottesville Simulcast system, which includes a lot of different things. What you want to listen to is on you. In fact, you can even go to, let's say, services. Is that actually, that's not what I want. Let's go to services. There we go. And that gives you access to all the different types of what it considers radio transmissions. You can turn off fire if you don't want to listen to fire. You can turn off police if you don't want to listen to police. Turn off hospital communication if you don't want to listen to the hospital. Whatever's on your simulcast system, it has some idea of what is being listened to it based off of the radio reference database that's been preloaded into it. It's a handful. So really, again, you get the scanner, you plug it in, you put in your zip code, it works right out of the box. I've messed with the software before. I've definitely played around with the Uniden software, but you don't need to. Just plug it in and it works. So now we're going to jump over to the web application. Actually, before we do that, let me show you. Yeah, okay, web. So let's talk about recording. Each individual transmission is recorded and saved to my server, which is kind of nice if you ever want to go back and listen to it. I mean, I've had fire calls where they have operated on a TAC channel, and even though this is scanning all of the channels, it recorded the TAC channels into individual folders so that I could go ahead and pull all of the TAC channel fire operations and put them into like Audacity and save it as one 20-minute file of radio transmissions from that specific event. And so if you're doing, if you work for a fire department, you're a volunteer firefighter, or you want to help out the volunteers and set up some kind of audio so that they can go back and do some training, that's something that you can do very easily. Or, if there's a specific event that going on and you don't have access to your scanner and you want to go back and see what that event was, you can easily find it in the in either the application or your file explorer, depending on how you have your settings set up to save it. So let's go over here to the web application. All right, so we have the web application. This is what it looks like on your phone if you're running Android or iPhone. I personally am running an iPhone. I have no problem at all listening to the scanner. You have your options. You put your password in here. As you can see, I'm in scanner control mode, but I also have a password for just listening to it, so I can give that out to friends, and that way obviously this information is not available to the public. So even though you could get to my scanner, The information is not available to the public unless you have my password. And I think that's with the current climate of listening to scanners, I think that's important that you not just make your broadcast public. There are plenty of people who do, and that's on them. For me, I'd rather keep this to myself and my circle of friends. So you just go ahead and hit play. I'm not going to do that right now, but you hit play, it'll queue up your audio, and then you'll have your audio. And now there's a 16-second delay between the audio that comes out of the scanner and the audio that comes out of your web application. So there is a bit of a delay. Now the audio says it's at 0. And the good news is that only controls, you can actually change, in fact we can do that, you can actually change the audio on the application, and that'll change the audio on your scanner. But that audio volume, that volume only controls the scanner's internal speaker. So what's being transmitted is a completely different digital signal that has its own gain. It's it's a line level out. And so that works really well because say you have your scanner set up at your home and you don't, your roommates, family doesn't want to hear it going 24/7, you can turn the volume off and only you who is listening to it from a remote access can hear the volume. That works out really well. And so, the volume doesn't do you much good obviously on your remote. Nice thing is that it comes out crystal clear in digital. It's a digital file source, so you don't have to worry about 60 hertz hum. You don't have to worry about feedback. You don't have to worry about your audio level sources. It's all coming out digital, clean audio. In fact, we can take a listen to. Let's take a listen to. Oh, I forgot to set this up. We'll take a listen to this. All right. So we're on the 31st. You can see this is the 31st Charlottesville simulcast system. I have all these different departments. Right now we'll go to fire rescue. We'll just hit dispatch and we'll just listen to some dispatch.
Engine 10 for the chest pain at 203 Huntley Avenue. Paramedic 10, Engine 10 for the chest pain.
Let's go ahead and listen to
203
response.
Huntley.
Paramedic 10 responding.
Paramedic 10, Engine 10, you're responding to 203 Huntley Avenue, 203 Huntley Avenue, cross streets of Morgan Court and Sunset Road, for the chest pain, 319.
Engine 10, you can go in service.
Truck 9, responding to 1011 Elliott Avenue, 1011 Elliott Avenue, cross streets of Monticello Avenue, Meridian Street. Call came from BC1 to call reference to a smoke alarm beeping, 343.
And Engine 21s are not placed first truck.
Engine 21, you're not to the 5500 block of Louisa Road, to the 5500 block of Louisa Road, cross streets of Gordonsville Road and Campbell Road. He's requesting assistance with a pine tree blocking the southbound lane, 505.
Hi, this is Engine 21's on scene. We are going to be north of Sismont Road in the 5500 block of Gordonsville Road. Firefighter Patrick has command.
Understood. You're going to be in the 5500 block of Gordonsville Road, 520. Engine 151, you're responding to Ivy Road at
All right, cool. That's good enough. All right, so there you go. That's a pretty good idea of what you can do with the ProScan technology. Or with the ProScan application along with your SDS200. I have really enjoyed listening to the scanner. I've really enjoyed what the SDS200 has to offer. I've really enjoyed what ProScan has to offer. I love the application. I love, they've got a lot of support. Good small company, worth the $50 that you would spend on it. So very happy with that. The only thing I would say is that, find out if your area is encrypted or not, because, if all your communication is encrypted, there's really no reason to get a scanner. So, anyway, Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you liked it, hit like. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike. At least I'll know not to make another video like this. Otherwise, happy scanning.